Hey guys, in this video I just want to take you through a 6-day program that's basically a bodybuilding program, but just if you really want a big squat. So I wrote this up for a friend of mine who that's basically his condition. He's a bodybuilder, he wants physique goals and everything, but he also wants a huge squat. So essentially what we have in this program is a whole bunch of squat volume alongside just a whole bunch of stand hypertrophy volume. So it's basically like a push-pull leg split, a double push-pull leg split. With squats just thrown in wherever we can put them, essentially. So we'll just quickly go through it here. We start on Monday with push. Now, you'll notice I haven't given sets and reps here because this is an advanced program, so I think you can kind of choose your own sets and reps based on your recovery and which rep ranges benefit you the most. But we start with incline dumbbells on Monday. Good way to start. This particular person doesn't love bench pressing, like barbell benching, and he really likes his dumbbells, so we start with that. And then we go to Smith machine bench. A little bit less technical and maybe a little bit easier to overload than a standard bench, especially if you're not a big fan of a regular bench. Then we go pec deck, so that's the like a pec fly on a machine. Our particular gym has a good pec fly. If yours doesn't, you could do this with cables. And then we superset that to rope overhead extension. So the pec deck doesn't really recruit much triceps, and a rope overhead extension is just a really good way. Just a really good way to get some long head of a tricep coming in. Then we go to lateral raises, superset it to bar push down. So once again, some shoulder work, and then superset it to some bonus triceps. Those two things don't affect each other very much. Then we go hanging knee raise, so just some nice ab training here. Now you can do this like suspended on like a Roman chair if the hanging doesn't suit you, and then superset to dumbbell shrugs. So just finishing the day with some kind of bonus stuff that would be nice to fit in abs and traps. Then we move to Tuesday, which is the pull day with a heavy deadlift to start. So we just start with deadlift. No superset there, just taking this super seriously. Partially because this is going to pretty massively benefit our squat, especially for this particular dude, and maybe for you as well who squats low bar and that kind of hip hinged pattern. A strong deadlift is really going to help. And also, it's not a bad hypertrophy, not a terrible hypertrophy movement in of itself. Then we got assisted pull-up or lat pull-down. I would really want this to be assisted pull-up. It doesn't even have to be assisted. If you can do enough reps, it could be normal pull-ups. But I kind of wanted this to be slightly higher reps. You can do lat pull-down if you really want to, but I think pull-ups are probably better. And then that's just supersetted to knee rehab choice. So this particular guy has slightly funky knees. And to be honest, the fact of the matter is if you're squatting heavy 3 times a week, you may notice that's you as well. You may notice your knees don't love it. So it's really nice to just get on top of that. Choose a knee rehab that suits you. Is it your patella tendon that's hurting? Is it whatever's hurting? Find some knee rehab that works for you. Maybe you see a physio or maybe you just Google and then you just superset that in here. Then we got a single arm cable row. No superset because you don't really need it. You just swap sides. There's no real rest necessarily. You could absolutely do this as a double cable row and superset something in, but this particular dude gets a good mind muscle connection from a single arm, and there's nothing wrong with that. Then we go dumbbell curls, superset to face pulls. So this is just a nice chill superset, some good bicep volume, and then face pulls are just super cheap, and are going to give you a little bit of extra side delts, a little bit of extra rear delts, and a little bit of extra traps. And super cheap. When I say cheap, I mean that you're not hard to recover from. And we go preacher curls. We have a pretty good preacher curl machine. You could do these with a barbell or whatever you want. And you can swap this out for another curl variation if preacher curls like hurt your wrists or something like that. And then we superset out to weighted setup, so just some bonus abs at the end of the day there. Cool. Then we move to Wednesday as our first squat day. So this is kind of like a leg day, basically, this Wednesday. Leg day plus. So we start with squats. This is like a medium heavy squat day, 4 sets of 5. You'll notice that the squats are one thing I've put the reps in because that's what we're really prioritizing. And it's not bodybuilding necessarily. We're doing this for strength. So we really want to choose our reps quite specifically. And you'll notice there's no rep range here because I don't want them progressing through a range. I just want them to do more weight because it's strength training. And then just superset that to dead hangs. A little bit of grip training and a little bit of like a decompression for the spine, which can be nice if you're squatting a million times a week. Then we go to barbell bench, superset it to calf raises. Obviously, if your gym's super busy, this may not be super practical. But if you train kind of early in the day, it's not super busy, then yeah, very practical superset in the sense that the calves don't affect the bench very much. Then we go leg extension, superset to shrugs. So a little bit more traps here and a little bit of isolation for the quads. If you're squatting low bar, a lot of the time it's not super isolated to the quads, which is fine. But if you want to grow your quads specifically, then a leg extension can be some nice cheap volume for the quads. Then we got cable lateral raises. No superset here because you just switch sides, so there's no real rest. Just some nice, good quality isolation for the side delts, and just a different look to the dumbbell lateral raises we did on Monday. Then we go easy bar reverse curls, supersetted to barbell finger curls. So just some good work for the forearms, extensors and flexors. Just get your forearms trained. Then we rest on Thursday, get our energy back, and then we jump into the second half of the week. which Friday is basically a push day with squats. So we start with volume squats, 4 sets of 8. The logic of doing volume squats on this day is this will actually give us some pretty decent leg hypertrophy because it's sets of 8 on a day where we're not doing any other legs. Then we superset that to just that, to some basic forearm work, easy bar reverse curls again, and then hammer curls for a bit of biceps and some brachioradialis and brachialis. So the muscle at the top of the forearm here, and then the muscle inside the upper arm. Then we got overhead press. I say Smith or not. I would really prefer this to be not a Smith machine, but this guy really likes the Smith machine, so it's totally fine. Then we go pec deck again. He really likes pec deck, and there's nothing wrong with it. Once again, you could do some sort of other fly movement here if you wanted to. Dumbbell flies, cable flies, whatever you want. Superset to V-bar push down. So just a slightly different look for the tricep isolation to what we did on Monday. If you're running like a push-pull legs or any split which requires you to repeat workouts, it can be good to add just a little bit of variation, even if it's just in rep range. But in this case, we did a variation with just a slightly different exercise selection, V-bar versus straight bar. Then we go full range of motion side raise. So once again, it's just a kind of a different look. It's more side delt isolation and a little bit of traps as well, but just a different look. Now we're going all the way up. And we switched it out to a cable French press. So that's just to get some more long head of a tricep work. It's very similar to the overhead extension, but now we're behind our head. Of course, you could do a dumbbell French press here as well. I just really like the cable. And then we finish with a red delt fly. This particular dude has a really good technique on our machine at our gym that really emphasizes the red delt, and he really likes it. And it's unilateral, so once again, there's no need to superset because there's no real rest in between. So that's our push day plus squats. Then we move to Saturday, which is our pull day. So we start with pull-ups, superset to knee rehab of choice. So I think if you're not deadlifting on your pull day, you should start with pull-ups. If you are deadlifting, then you should, well, I say deadlifting, that would be any kind of hip hinge. So if you're doing a barbell row, any hip hinge you should do first. But if you're not doing that, then start with your pull-ups. And then once again, just superset it to some more knee rehab. Then we go Smith machine row. This is like, it's a more chill barbell row. And this guy does it with, and he's actually got a good technique with like a chest support. He sets up a bench, chest supported. If you don't like Smith machine row, if you have a good machine row at your gym, you can definitely do that. Trouble is our gym does not have that, so we kind of have to set up something in a Smith machine. But I would definitely program this, like a happily programmed here, a machine row. And then superset that to weighted sit-ups, so just some extra abs. Then we go dumbbell row or single arm cable row. So basically the same vibe. I would prefer this to be a dumbbell row just to give some variation, but if you're not a fan of dumbbell rows, then you can just do single arm cable rows again. Then easy bar curls to face pulls. That's just kind of the same as the previous pull day. We're basically just doing a bicep variation, superset to a face pull. And then dumbbell curls, superset to dumbbell shrugs. So just some bonus traps again. So we're getting a lot of traps in this program. And then dumbbell curls, so some extra biceps. And then we finish with another leg day. And this leg day is heavy squats. So 4 sets of 3. So very much outside of bodybuilding range here, just trying to get strong. And then once again, just superset to our forearm medley, just get some big forearms. Then we go to leg press. So once again, a little bit more quad isolation, and a bit cheaper, less axial fatigue and more squats. Superset. Now, in this program, I should mention, you could swap out the leg press and the leg extension for high bar squats or front squats if you wanted. A little bit more expensive in terms of it would be a bit harder to recover from, but maybe a bit more value as well. But yeah, here we have leg press, and we're supersetting that to a deadlift machine shrug. So when I say that, it's just like, you know that like kind of like deadlift machine thing that some gyms have where it's like a hinge thing like that. You can just take that, put some weights on it, and do shrugs with it. Just a different look to the dumbbells. Just lots and lots of trap isolation here. Get a huge yoke to upper back, and of course probably healthy for your squats as well because it gives you a bigger spot to rest the bar. And then we go to leg extension, superset to hamstring curls. So this is just some cheap leg volume here, isolation for the hamstrings and the quads, and also a bit of a different look because we've deadlifted earlier this week. So just a different way of training the hamstrings now with knee flexion. And then we finish with calf raises, superset to tibialis raises. So some calf isolation and then some tibialis isolation for knee health, especially for this guy who has sore patellar tendons. Strong tibialis muscles will help with that. And yeah, that's the program. Totally free for you guys in the description. Remember that this is just a recipe. This was made for someone else. I mean, you could totally run it as is, and you'd probably be totally fine. But if there's anything here that you want to change, you want to change the pec deck for a different type of fly, or you want to do less squatting, or you want to deadlift on your other pull day, or whatever it is, add that in. Maybe just copy paste this into your own Google Sheets and see how you run. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.